I think for for the first 10 years of my life, if I really remember, is when I was truly unmasked and I was getting into fist fights at school, was told I was a very talkative child. And
All good things.
yeah, absolutely. I didn't give a flying F about it.
A flying what? I couldn't hear the
No,
word.
no,
There
it's
was some word there.
I'm following the rules of the podcast. So I didn't even realize that these were supposed to be problems. I have been thrown out of class in third standard more than once, and I was fine. I was like, yeah, I am going to chill outside. But something changed when I turned 10. My sister was born. My school was changed at the same time. And I think I went into heavy masking from then to about 19. So, your formative years, teenage, usually where you get bullied or where you get labeled, and these things get cruel. I sort of masked my way through that entire phase. So I was this perfect little good girl, being vice president of Yellow House and cultural secretary of the school, thinking I had a pretty perfect life. I had it sorted out. Like at 12th standard, if anybody asked me what I wanted to be, I would say journalist, and they would be like, "Wow, you're so sorted." Except that all of those answers I was parroting from whatever my mother had said. So I actually skipped that phase of where I would have gotten labeled certain ways. And at 19, when I finally became who I was and I went like unbridled and everything, I was very proud of myself. I was very happy that I was this person. And somehow, because I guess I was in theater circles, people were kind and society was okay. We were anyway the misfits. So I took a lot of pride in being a misfit. Once the diagnosis happened, is actually when it hit for me. So it was so the first year of the diagnosis, I was super happy. I was like, I have language, I have ADHD, and I'm going to claim my space. It was, I think, in the second year where I actually, what you're talking about getting labeled and, that affecting you, all of that. I think that's when it happened for me actually, much, much, much later. Um, yeah, and then I think, as I mentioned, work and friendships and everywhere, that's when I started suddenly feeling a lot of shame about my diagnosis, about ADHD, and suddenly a lot of shame that had gotten deeply buried started coming up. And because I was not masking anymore.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, you wanted to talk? Okay, so it's very interesting you say that you started masking around 10 or 11
Mm.
because it's also when, we have hormonal changes, right?
Mm,
And everything
mm.
is extra intense.
Yeah.
So, what was the difference between the kind of shame and the sort of feelings you had when you started masking the first time
Mm.
versus, this was as a grown adult? Like you were a person in your late 20s, possibly
Yeah.
already 30,
Yeah.
when you started feeling some of these things. So, if a teenage you or a preteen you was to have a conversation with a 30-something you about feelings of shame and
Yeah.
labels, what would it look like?
I mean, at 10, 11, it's very unconscious, right? You don't realize you're masking and you're surviving basically through masking and staying safe. And it felt like the right thing to do. But at 29, when you're intentionally doing it, there is some amount of letting go of self-respect you have to do to survive, to mask the identity. I do believe that masking the identity is a lot about self-respect also. And that felt horrible. That felt I think if my 29-year-old was talking to the 10-year-old, she would be like, babe, ignorance is bliss. I wish I was ignorant about the fact that I was masking. And the shame was, of course, the shame was making its home like very, very, very strongly, even in the 10-year-old self. But I only realized it much later. So it was much easier to mask at 10, I would say, than at 29.
Very interesting.